Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, August 14, year of our Lord 2026. It's 9:09 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. Broadcasting today from the United States of America, the place where the brave, like the veterans we will salute today, thanks to our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, like Dale Roberts, Tioga, Peter Terrace, Oliphant, and Donald Bielovitz, Elmhurst Township. Veterans we've lost, but salute today, thanks to John. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be and set out to make sure it would not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation, because they knew that government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice. They also knew that government power, because of human nature, would be abused. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, whether you like what they say or not, whether they lie or not, because you're free to ignore them. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, these Americans, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro show, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, the American band, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. Well, great to be back in the studio. Yesterday we did that great Tech Bridge conference. Every year it is truly an inspiration that there's an economic future here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Don Webster puts that on and puts it together, and it is just fabulous. A lot of you were texting me during the show how impressed we didn't know we had this. We didn't know we were doing. We didn't know this was happening here. So a true inspiration to be there. I was Cutie and I went with the Palucci's to Avalon, and it was a great vacation. And hung around there, the Iacona and the Windrift and all that, and they have a piano bar which we hung around every night. But a good time had by all, and I didn't go into the ocean once. I didn't even go on the sand once. Excuse me. They had pools there, and we were hanging around the pools and all that. But, yeah, I'll get in the ocean this year. I will get in the ocean. But, and I'm an ocean fan. None of the other people with me were, so that I'm only going to go down by myself and hang around in the ocean. I should have just submersed once, but I did not. But we ran into a lot of great people from Northeast Pennsylvania who listened to the program and were down there enjoying themselves. We had a great time with all of them. And it's good. You're on vacation and you meet somebody when you're out of town. It's always a pleasure. It truly is. But then, and I'll tell you what, getting back to yesterday, my co-host for the first hour and a half was our Congressman, Rob Bresnahan. Now, he not only has business experience, he is just so sharp. He's so conversant on everything, and he's done such an amazing job for us. And what greets me when I get home, two-page Gognetti, lie-filled, I don't know what you'd call them. They're bigger than a pamphlet, and they're only one page. So one of them was to me as a Republican. And it has some idiot clown, and I'm sorry. I was a Republican my whole life, but the corruption drives me nuts. These politicians get rich and forget about people like us. Well, he forgot about Paige Cognetti giving herself the raise. He says, that's why I'm voting for Paige Cognetti. She took on the party bosses. That's a lie. The party bosses and the ins and the establishment are who appointed her to school board, who pursued and funded her campaign for mayor. So, I mean, these people are dumb enough to be out there speaking and having statements written, obviously, on their behalf that they have no clue about. She fought corruption. Exactly how? Exactly how, Bill from Lackawanna County? Exactly how did she fight corruption? Please tell me. I really want to know. Oh, do you mean by taking $15,000 from the Fidelity Bank executives and then spending $2 million of our money to buy their building that they didn't want, that we don't need as the city? That corruption? Is that what you're talking about? Is that how she fought corruption? By being corrupt? By giving the same bank $5 million for their downtown headquarters? Yeah, what corruption, Bill? You clown. You got used. Now it says here on the other side, no corporate PAC money ever. Well, we already proved that's a lie. We already proved it's a lie. She takes corporate PAC money from other PACs. And I'm talking tens, I don't know where this cough came from, tens of thousands of dollars in corporate PAC money goes to pay John Cagnetti's campaign. Lie. It says, as mayor, she refused a pay raise and perks. It's a lie. She actually engineered a $20,000 increase in the mayor's pay and took it. I mean, the blatancy of the lying it's insane. It's a pathological liar's dream, this nonsense. Paige Cognetti, and here's the one that goes to the Democrats, because we got a Democrat in the House. Oh, no, it's to both of us. So it goes to everybody. Paige Cognetti, an independent leader for Congress. Will she be, and I wrote down, will she be independent of Soros and Mamdani? Mamdani's people are running her campaign. Yeah, Mayor Mamdani from New York. And the Soroses gave her maximum contributions. They maxed out. That's what they call it. Now, she says she turned around Scranton's finances from the brink of bankruptcy to budget surpluses. Bill Courtwright, the mayor, sold the sewer authority. That's what did it. Again, she's just blatantly lying. Again, refused to take a pay raise in her 7 years as mayor. She engineered the pay raise. You just say to yourself, this is crazy. And she's talking about Scranton's finances. Well, the 5-year plan came out, and there's going to be huge deficits in the future because her election year budget is fake. We've had 2 fake budgets in a row, deficit budgets, to help her get through the mayor's election and now the congressional election. And we're going to get clubbed in the city of Scranton. Wait and see. And she says, ban members of Congress from trading stocks. Well, Rob Breslin has already proposed that legislation. And she worked for Goldman Sachs. She's going to talk about insider trading. She worked for Goldman Sachs. Clean up corruption. How? By taking campaign contributions and rewarding the contributors? That's what you did, Paige. You see what the left does? The left-wing lunatics, they do everything that they accuse the other side of. So you're going to stand up to greedy corporations that are driving up costs like Fidelity Bank? Like the left wing, which is driving up costs by spending more government money than we have? Wow. Broken, she says, to clean up broken Washington. Who broke it? The Soroses? The Democrat Party that you are required to beg to? The Joe Biden? Who broke it? That's it. I'm telling you, it's frighteningly insane. I'm starting to. I got to question her mental health. I really do. If it was my campaign, you just don't publish something. And by the way, I'll give room for her being wrong about something. Like, okay, I'm predicting something in the future, and it doesn't happen. Okay. She's lying about what already happened. She's lying about what she's done. It is frightening. Our man Andrew Massimilian wrote in from Ransom Township. I'm going to talk about it on the other side of this break, but he nails it too. It's crazy. All right. Bob Cordaro, WILK, back in the studio with the Bulldog, and reminding you that you could catch this whole program on YouTube. Roach Supply bringing that to you. Premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. 96-year-old Ron Roach at the helm. 3 generations working side by side. Visit roachsupply.com today. They're the best. ROCHE. We'll be back. Murph tells us August 14th, 1964, Johnny Burnett, who had this hit, You're 16, he drowned at the age of 30 in a boating accident in Clear Lake, California. It might have been the father of the 16-year-old who drowned him. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And then 1935, this date, the Social Security Act becomes law. Now, let me tell you my problem with Social Security. And those of you who have been successful, don't get angry at me. You don't deserve it. We can't afford it. If you're well off, you shouldn't be getting Social Security. I'm sorry. And the program was really designed to fail. And I understand political compromises and all that. But it does two things that are very odd to me. The Social Security tax you pay stops being deducted after you make so much money. Like, I think it's over $200,000. Well, why? Number one. So it doesn't tax high-income people for a lot of their higher levels of income. Doesn't make any sense. Number one. Number two, and you wonder why it's failing. Number two, it gives money to people to have a higher income than they already have earned. And believe me, no one would begrudge someone for being successful. Not on my side of the fence. But why do you have to get Social Security? I don't get it. I truly don't. And that's why Social Security is headed towards bankruptcy. And that might have been political compromises that had to happen. I do not know. All right, let's go to Kevin from Duryea on data centers. Kevin, we got about a minute, my man. Fire away.
Data centers, Mr. Cordaro. I'm very much in favor of them. I think they're getting a bad rap. These are the same people that ruined nuclear energy years ago.
Well, they're the same people that said fracking. It's the same mentality.
Exactly.
They said fracking would be a nightmare. And then all this and the environmental disasters, what's been our savior.
Yeah, because we have the water in the river. They're going to recycle it. I watched the thing yesterday. All the 90 almond trees in California use 90% more water than all the data centers now in the United States. So,
and I had someone on. I had a guest on yesterday because the concept of the tech bridge was energy. And he explained these myths that they are propounding. And it's guys like Billy Gaughan and Paige Cognetti. And it's like, well, they lie about everything else. Why wouldn't they lie about this? Now, it should not be. It should not be anywhere near a neighborhood, any project. And that's, to me, that's fully understood. They've got to provide their own power, and they've got to clean their own water. That's it.
Right. And you can make a deal with them, make a contract with them, be a host community, and just like anything else, you know.
Big tax dollars. That's right.
Yeah. And one quick thing, all the lawyers across the state are getting indulged or just bombarded with Cognetti for donations. So that's where she's getting her money, from trial lawyers.
Well, that too. Yep. Look at she is the machine. She's the tool of the machine, but she says she's against it. It's a disgrace. Yep.
I know it is. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. Hey, 9:31 on my Picardo's watch. We've got to take this break. We will come back. We got the Veterans Tribute. We got the weather, and then more. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And on Friday, as we go to the weekend, we talk about Basiliga Hospitality Group. 3 amazing bar restaurants. They're just great to hang out in. And that's the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, right on the main drag. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. And the Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Fine dining, yep, we got that. A Terra 519. New chef Alex Diaz. I'm telling you, the place, top shelf, and a lot of affordable options, which I take advantage of, including a great happy hour. And by the way, for an old world take on the same luxurious experience with affordability as an option, the Stegmeyer Mansion in downtown Wilkes-Barre and the nightclub Sergei's right underneath Atera. They'll be open tonight, making it all happen. Dale Roberts, we lost him July 16. He was from Tioga, 79 years old. Born in Nicholson, graduated high school in Belton, Missouri. He then attended Keystone College. Dale was a Vietnam veteran and a member of the U.S. Navy Reserves as well. He worked as a UPS driver for 20 years. In his younger years, he had a love of flying with his brother Richard in their single-engine plane. He also built and flew model airplanes, enjoyed riding around on his BSA motorcycle as well as snowmobile trips. He was a tinkerer with an innovator's mind. As a skilled mechanic, he built his own beloved Bugatti car from a VW chassis. Dale is survived by his 2 sons, a brother, a sister, and others, and thanks some Tioga friends for great care and support in his later years. Dale Roberts, our veteran this hour, brought to you by Basiliga Hospitality Group and our man, John Basiliga. AccuWeather forecast on an absolutely perfect water park day, brought to you by Montage. Today, partly sunny. Wildfire smoke will cause the sky to be hazy, but it's not a breathing issue. High 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. Another beautiful water park day. Beautiful start to the weekend. High 85, low 63. Sunday, not as warm. There'll be periods of rain and a thunderstorm beginning in the late morning, and it'll be high of 75, low 68. Monday, times of sun and clouds, shower in spots, humid, high 84, low 60. Great water park weather. Tuesday, less humid with sunshine and a few clouds, high 85, low 59. And that's your AccuWeather forecast, brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resort. 1965, this date, Murph tells us the Rolling Stones, they moved up to number 2 with their hit, Satisfaction. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Let's go right to my friend Jeff Malice regarding the Greater Scranton Penn State chapter. They've got a pizza party. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well, Bob. Nice to see you come back. I hope you had a great vacation.
Well, it was exhausting.
They always are.
I needed to rest up. I think I went to I laid down in bed at like 8 o'clock last night. I said enough.
Well,
Anyway.
we're having our pizza party tonight. Doors open at 6:00. Donnie Collins will start speaking about 7:15, and they'll talk about Coach Campbell and the new Penn State team. As you know, the Iowa State and Penn State players merged, and there'll be pizza. We're going to have some drawings for football tickets. We do have football tickets, down at University Park, so we're going to have some raffles there. And one auction.
This is a great event, isn't it?
Angelo will put in red pizza, white pizza, a salad, and your soda. It's all for $10. So that's what it's going to cost.
What a great event. I'm telling you guys keeping this going. And Donnie Collins, nobody knows and has analyzed Penn State as deeply as he has. So if you're interested in Penn State University or Penn State football, tonight at Arcaro and Janelle is the place to be. I agree with you, man.
And then you could ask him for his prediction. And, hey, what did you think of Drew Aller last night with the Steelers?
Well,
3 touchdown passes.
Did he really? How about that?
He had a great game. So, well, we go figure when he was at Penn State. I don't know. Go figure.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. The new coach gives us a fresh day at Penn State. I was not enamored of Franklin.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens, and thanks for letting me on, and I'll let you know about our next event coming up in October about Dr. Sebastianelli, which we're going to honor, in his memory.
Looking forward to it.
At the Waldorf, and I'll keep you posted on that. Thank you.
All right, my man.
Bye.
Jeff Malice, Penn State, Greater Scranton, Penn State chapter. Tonight, the pizza party at Arcaro and Janelle's. Donnie Collins talking about Penn State football. You can't do much better. What a comfortable night that will be. Hey, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. A couple of people texting in about the Social Security, and I want to discuss that. We'll be back. Tom Jones, I love him. Love him, love him, love him. I used to watch his show as a little kid. Well, you didn't go out at night. I think it was on a Friday night, the show. This date, 1965, Murph tells us he moved up to number 5 with his hit, What's New, Pussycat? Bob Cordaro back with WILK. So I mentioned Andrew Massimilian, and my man Alan sent me this. Letters to the editor. I don't read them because, you know, you can't read these newspapers. It's that bad. But here's a rare bright light. Andrew writes, Paige Cagnetti's deceptive image that she's a modern-day Joan of Arc fighting political corruption crumbles under the weight of the truth. When you have corruption, Democrats need to make sure that they're calling it out, Cognetti piously declared to CNN in May. And that includes when somebody in the Democrat Party does something wrong. Courageous, noble words, Andy says. But where were Paige's denouncements of her hero, former President Joe Biden's participation in his son Hunter's influence peddling scheme? Or Kamala Harris's VP running mate and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's actions surrounding the massive welfare fraud in Minnesota? Cognetti accuses Representative Rob Bresnahan of personally trading stocks, which, by the way, is another of her lies. His broker made the decisions. And by the way, yeah, you don't believe, whatever. That's what happened. But she ignores Democrat pals Representative Nancy Pelosi, who opposed trading bans for years while amassing a fortune from her husband's stock trades. Yeah, she's taking pictures. And Ro Khanna, who traded far more than Bresnahan. Cognetti sanctimoniously claims she won't take corporate PAC money, yet FEC filings show her campaign accepted thousands from PACs that were funded by corporate PACs. So if the cash is laundered from a corporate to a non-corporate PAC, ethics faker Page will grab it. Another deception is that Page is a political outsider raging against the machine. But her work on Clinton Obama's campaign and her patronage job in Obama's Treasury Department show the opposite. Learn the truth about Page, the pretender, and don't believe the myths about this disingenuous charlatan who says one thing but does the opposite. And just continually lies. It's disgraceful. Look at, tell us you don't want the police to have guns. We played that clip. Tell us you want to defund the police. Tell us you want the open border. And I can at least respect you. But lie about everything, including everything Rob Bresnahan does, you're a disgrace. And I'm stuck living in Scranton. 9:50 on my Picardo's watch. I just realized that I had buttoned my shirt one button off this morning. I'm telling you, you walk around like a jackass sometimes, like a blind man without a cane. You don't even know it. We'll see if I can get it right. We're back. That is the Moody Blues. Murph said they had the #1 album this date, 1971. Every Good Boy Deserves Favor. And the song is The Story in Your Eyes. And then before that, of course, Harry S. Truman, a great Democrat. He announces that Imperial Japan surrendered unconditionally, ending World War II. Neat stuff. Neat stuff. All right, let's go to the blower. We got my man Wayne from Einan. How are you, Wayne?
Very good, Robert. That gavel's probably very heavy after your vacation.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I got to got to get back in gavel shape. You're right.
Yeah. And don't put it down too heavy. It makes too much of a noise either.
So what do you got? What do you got for us today?
Well, I can't believe it. The case. She's actually running for the state. She can't run a city, but she's going to run for the state.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. You look at Scranton, you got every pothole in the world. Okay, they finally got a pool working. Yeah, just about a time
They're
for the
splash
kids to go
pads.
back to school.
They don't have a pool.
Yeah.
They got splash pads, and she's opening them again. Yeah, you're right. At the end of the summer, kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
Here we
2
go.
weeks before the kids go. 3 weeks before the kids go back to school. And yet she's going to run for office in the state. I can't feel confident about anything, Bobby, in that respect.
It's so disappointing. And look if you're a left-wing lunatic, admit what you are, admit the crazy things you believe in, and let's see what happens. But no, she's got to lie. It's pathological at this point.
Here's the way I look at it, too. After Biden lying about being in Scranton, okay, and then her coming from Scranton, if she gets in, Scranton's going to have a hell of a good name, isn't it?
Well, what has traditionally happened is that voters from outside the city rebel against having an elected politician from the city. Even good ones like Chris Doherty, they just reject them. They say, we can't have this. And so I'm hoping that same sentiment governs here, because we really can't lose a great congressman like our man Rob Bresnahan.
Oh, I agree.
He just brought in another $1 million for the Jewish Community Alliance of Northeast Pennsylvania. I mean, he's delivering.
Yeah. Yep, I saw that. That was good. That was good. So how was the vacation, buddy?
It was really good, but it's exhausting, when you're certain people, you go out every day, I came home and it was like, okay, I'm just laying in bed last night. So there you go.
Yeah, I was on vacation too. I was up in the Adirondacks.
Oh, where do you go up there? Where do you go up there?
Brant Lake.
Neat.
It's about 2 exits up from Lake George.
That is God's country in the summer. It really is.
It's good. Even in the early fall, Bobby. It's we have relatives that have a cottage up there.
Neat.
Okay, and it's actually a little cabin, and we go up and stay up there. So it's beautiful.
So
that lake is.
Listen, Wayne, we got to go now, but maybe next week at Queen City, me and you.
How about the last Thursday?
Let's think about that. You
Okay.
call Bulldog and talk off the air. We'll figure a day. All right.
Okay, buddy.
Because the Bulldog needs to be in on it. He insists.
Okay.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, buddy.
Have a good
Thank
one,
you.
buddy. Hey, we got to get a theme song for Wayne, by the way. Bulldog. Are you thinking, or he's just sitting there? No acknowledgement. I'm talking to you, Bulldog. All right. Anyway, we're headed towards the news. I see the sweet pantomime Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me that it'll be the news in just 10 seconds. So let's do that. We'll do the news with Brian Hughes. We'll come back. It is the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It's 10:06 and change on my Cordaro Jewelers watch this beautiful Friday, August 14, year of our Lord, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Dale Roberts of Tioga, Peter Terrace of Oliphant, and Donald Bielowitz of Elmhurst Township. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. So there's a trial going on, and you probably have noticed this, and I've said this before. I look at a specific trial. Like, I've almost never talked about this Murdaugh nonsense, almost never talked about Luigi Mangione because he's just a sickening piece of garbage. But there is a trial that has captured people, and it's this Lindsay Clancy trial. And she has, well, the whole thing's captured the nation. And for some reason, and for probably many reasons, women are really getting behind Lindsay Clancy and saying, yeah, she was clearly mentally disturbed and shouldn't be convicted as a murderer. And so my friend, Dominic Morocco, former county prosecutor, former federal prosecutor, I said, Dominic, could you bone up on this Lindsay Clancy trial and tell us a little bit about it? There's a pause in the action today, but with us is attorney Dominic Morocco. Dominic, how are you, brother?
Good, Bob. How you doing today?
Good. All right, so you've had a chance to take a look at what's happening with Lindsay Clancy. She is asserting a defense. It seems to me like her attorney has done a really good job sort of saying, well, how did you guys miss all of this mental illness that she and that she was cooperative in treatment for mental illness. And I guess they suspended it until Monday.
That's correct, Bob. Yeah, court's in recess today. They'll resume on Monday with what I believe to be one remaining prosecution witness, and then the defense would put on a case, likely experts, to further corroborate some of the work that the defense attorney has already done during cross-examination. And to your point, in this case, it's a tragic case, of course, and it's interesting and fascinating because obviously the identity of the perpetrator isn't at issue. Really, the only battleground issue is whether the Commonwealth of Massachusetts can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Lindsay Clancy was mentally capable of forming the necessary criminal responsibility to be guilty of the act. And so the defense throughout the entire trial, rightly so, has been attacking the prosecution's evidence and introducing some of their own to suggest that it was impossible for her to form this criminal responsibility because of various, postpartum psychiatric issues, intrusive thoughts, suicidal issues, all of the medication she was on. Now, the other part, Bob, that's interesting is I'm not sure, based on what I heard to date and what I've read about it, that the prosecution is saying she has no mental illness. I think they have to concede she had some. The prosecution's argument is simply that any mental issues she had were easily taken care of by medication and treatment and did not rise to the level where she was incapable of forming the thoughts to commit the heinous acts.
Now, a lot of women are saying, who have gone through probably postpartum depression, and this is regular women all over the country. They're saying, I get it. And there's no way a mother would kill her children this way unless she was completely bonkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting and poignant point, Bob, because what you're introducing, even though you didn't use the word, is motive. Motive is very rarely, if ever, an actual element of the crime. But as jurors being human beings sitting in the jury box, they're going to be thinking to themselves, why? And to your point, the jury is going to be thinking that without a motive, like you hear in some cases, money or revenge, like there's none of that here. And so without the prosecution trying to put together a story, even if it's not a required element of why she could have done this, it's really going to be probably human nature leaning on the side of there's no way someone could have done this unless they were clearly facing tremendous psychiatric issues.
It's fascinating for that reason, because it's one of the few times that a mental illness defense would be or has been accepted by, I think, a lot of people. Normally, people look at it as a dodge. Oh, no, and they'll get to go to a mental institution and then get out years later. There's so many people, women in particular, who are saying she deserves to go get mental health treatment.
Exactly, and that's another good procedural point, is because if the defense is successful in arguing that she was incapable of forming the necessary mindset for the responsibility, and she's acquitted, it's not like she walks out of the courthouse that day. Under Massachusetts law, even if she's found not guilty, there will be a separate proceeding where additional medical evidence will be introduced to assess what type of treatment she needs, for how long she needs it, et cetera. And so she would not walk free. She would be treated under the care, rightly so perhaps, of many healthcare providers for probably quite some time.
We're talking with former state and federal prosecutor Dominic Morocco regarding the Lindsay Clancy trial. Dominic, what was the delay? Why did they go on recess? I started to hear about that and then didn't follow up. Do you know?
Yeah, I had it on the television yesterday watching, and I think it was simply two things. Number one, timing with the remaining prosecution witness. I think there was a scheduling issue where the individual was going to be unavailable for parts of tomorrow, number one. And number two, the judge, and he's done a good job of this throughout, has been trying to do his best to maintain the schedule of the trial to where he's not requiring the jury to perform their service for too long of a period of time. In other words, this week they heard 3 full days of very difficult information and very emotional scientific evidence. And so I think part of it was also giving them a chance to refresh, to come back with a new start next week.
Dominic Morocco, it seems like she's winning the trial, at least to prove her mental incapacity. But as again, a lot of the women I've talked to about this case have said, she just wants to kill herself, and maybe she should be allowed to. I mean, that's off the legal spectrum, but she doesn't want to live after the horror of what occurred and what she did.
Yeah, and if you or any of your listeners have seen some of the courtroom footage where when some of the information is presented, she becomes clearly emotional, and so she still seems to be in that state of mind. But here's the thing, Bob, and by no means do I profess myself to be a medical expert, but those suicidal tendencies, if you believe the case that the defense has attempted to put on and will put on further through their experts, is not because of a consciousnness of guilt or trying to avoid the repercussions of what she did or trying to take the cowardly way out, if you want to look at it like that. It's in her defense's world uncontrollable because of the psychosis she has. And so I think that's part of the treatment she will receive. Is that it's not her fault that she's forming these thoughts. That's just unfortunately part of the medical aspects of what she's suffering.
Now, I had to chuckle. Our friend Lee texted in. He said, so we should let her go get mental health for a year or two, have more kids, and then kill them. I mean, it's not a joking matter, but it made me chuckle. A lot of people look at it as a dodge from guilt when, especially in this case, we know she killed them.
That's right. Yeah, that's the interesting part, is that there isn't any dispute who the actor was, and so
although some of the women I talked to said that husband was awfully suspicious.
well, if you go down that'll be for another time to discuss. But if you go down a few rabbit holes, there are some people who are saying that he was either part of it or framed her for it. But back to your listener Lee's inquiry, yeah, that's the difficult part, and what the judge will have to face if she is in fact found not guilty is whenever they're considering what type of treatment that she's going to be given. And this wouldn't be outpatient, Bob. She'd be in some type of institution like the guy who shot President Reagan was, Hinckley, years ago.
For criminally insane, yeah.
That's exactly right. And so one of the factors would be how long she stays there, for the very reason Lee suggested, is that they want to make sure before they put her back in society, where she could potentially, depending upon her age, be capable of having more children, what that circumstance would look like.
Yeah, well, fascinating. And again, don't normally cover these, but we may have you back on for this, for the Mangione issues and what's that other clown in South Carolina?
Murdaugh. Yeah,
Murdaugh.
What's interesting is as we're speaking, both Mangione and Murdaugh are both in court for various proceedings today as well. So happy to talk about those in the future.
All right, attorney Dominic Morocco on the Lindsay Clancy trial. Thank you very much, my friend.
Bob, my pleasure to speak with you.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The five-man electrical band. Murph tells us this date, 1971. They moved into the top 10 charts at number 10 with their hit Signs. And, of course, before that, 1997. You remember that horror. Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh sentenced to death. And I'll give him some credit. He said, kill me. I did it. Kill me. And we did. Fine. I'm almost not against the – well, I'm against the death penalty, period. But in this case, I don't know. It was that horrendous. Somebody says, Bob, I got the same flyers a few times. I ripped them up. Don't even read it. Well, they're disgraceful. She's on the commercial says she gave $5 million to police when she wants to defund the police. Liar. LTS. Another listener, perks, like the one, her being paid by the taxpayers while gallivanting around in different states for campaigning and fundraising. That one? Yeah, you nailed it, cabinet guy. Another Bob, welcome back in ALTS. I enjoy your show. ALTS back at you. I enjoyed your show yesterday and it gave me some interesting info. I was always a Bresnahan supporter and will continue to do so. I wish him strength to fight this lying, phony woman. If people cannot see through her, people look closer. Amen. Now, here's one of the trolls. And here's their lie. Northeast Pennsylvania rural hospitals like Barnes and Kaysen, Wayne Memorial Hospital have strained poor margin because of the big, beautiful bill. That's a lie. So that's a lie. You're a liar. Well, you're a liar. You really are disgusting. You must be a disgusting human being. It's the same one. Their phone number starts with 309. And they lie literally every time they text me. But I bring some of them out to show what a disgrace these people are. Now, the big mediocre bill, see, and the funny part is they do the exact opposite. The big mediocre bill, which Paige Cognetti opposed vociferously. In fact, she claims it's the reason she ran. It included $50 billion for rural hospitals. Paige was against that. The rural reimbursement rates, which is the rates that our facilities are reimbursed for Medicare and Medicaid patients, were always rural because they're based on wage rates. Our hospitals and facilities, not just Wayne Memorial and Barnes Kaysen or Guthrie, they are rural reimbursement rates, excuse me, because they're based upon wage rates, and they always have been. The people who support Paige Cognetti are disgusting liars, as is this ass. So there are not lower reimbursement rates for Medicaid in the big mediocre bill. You're a liar. In fact, there's a lifeline for rural hospitals, which is all of the hospitals, including the hospitals in Scranton and Wilkes-Barre in Northeast Pennsylvania. Oh, and Paige opposed that, by the way. She opposed saving our hospitals. And guess who stepped up when the old Mercy Hospital was going to close? Commonwealth. Rob Bresnahan. Oh, Paige tried to give a speech, but Bresnahan had to actually come in and save the day. And the big mediocre bill saved thousands and thousands of rural hospitals and helped every hospital in Northeast Pennsylvania because of the $50 billion that Rob Bresnahan, by the way, as a first-term congressman, got inserted into the big mediocre bill for rural hospitals. And all of our hospitals in Scranton, in Wilkes-Barre, and all the periphery have been benefiting from. Yeah. All right, back on the Social Security while we have a moment. Bob LTS. So what is considered well off? I told you I don't want, I think Social Security should not go to people who are well off, but here it is. Say I've saved $5 million in retirement, but my neighbor didn't save anything. and we've made the same amount through our life, but he spends like a drunken sailor. Does he get Social Security and I don't? I'm punished for saving, or do we both not get it? Look at here's you're not arguing in, and by the way, I don't want to take anything from people who are well off, and I think you should have lower taxes, but Social Security is going bankrupt. Now, what do you do to fix it? Do you tax it more, as the Democrats want, or do you reduce benefits to people who are better off? I'm for B. And it's nothing against you. It's nothing against your success. I'm proud of your success. I'm happy for your success. But Social Security is supposed to be, we played Franklin Roosevelt at the beginning of the show. It's supposed to be for people who need security, including idiots like your neighbor, the spendthrift. And it would have to be on a sliding scale, by the way. And I proposed this back in law school, so a million years ago. It would have to be on a sliding scale. If your income's $100,000 post-retirement, you would get a little less. And so on up the line. If once you get to a couple $100,000 in other income, well, then you don't get any. Is it fair? No. Is it what we have to do? Yes. And the drunken sailor benefits. And that's, by the way, Bob K., that's what every welfare program is about. Somebody benefits from someone else's hard work. We have to face it. Somebody texts in, Bob, another Social Security issue, life expectancy roughly 7 years longer than when it was passed, and the population increases taxes even more. There's plenty of money for everybody that put into Social Security to get some of their money back. Vehemently disagree with you on this topic, but agree with you on pretty much everything else, says Bob K. And I get it. I get it. Someone texts in, by the way, Bob, what was that clip? The clip we played at the 9:30 hour before the Veterans Tribute. I recently found out that I had a great uncle that was in the 502 landed on D-Day and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. Can't find out much more than that. P.S. Welcome back, Princess. I hope you had a great vacation. That's from American Veterans that I follow on Instagram. That's where that's from. Great stories. Another pothole page opened another kiddie splash pad yesterday, replacing another pool. Teenagers be damned. And let me tell you something about the Capouse Avenue deal. And we brought this up last year during the mayor's race. It was delayed for over a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, because the contractor who won the bid, she didn't like. And his girlfriend was running against Page for mayor on the Republican ticket. So she screwed up. And by the way, this is raw corruption. She didn't accept the bids because the winning bidder was a political opponent for Capouse Avenue. So not only did she get rid of the pool with another of these idiotic splash pads, not only did she get rid of the pool, she was 2 years late on getting it done because she wanted to punish a political opponent. There's your Paige Cognetti. All right, we'll take a break. Oh, by the way, somebody texts in, great segment, would love more like it. Attorney Morocco was excellent. LTS. Yes, he's the tops. He's the tops. All right, 10:31 on my Picardo's Watch. We'll take this break, and we'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, consisting of 3 great bar restaurants: the Old Brook Inn on 307 Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton, and the Queen City Tavern on the main drag in downtown Oliphant. Coming soon in casual dining, Coney Island Lunch, the legend on Lackawanna Avenue, reimagined and opening, and it's accompanied by Reagan's Ice Cream Shop right next door, named after his daughter. Well, fine dining, I'll be participating at some point this weekend. Atera 519 downtown Scranton. It's got a great and affordable happy hour. Chef Alex Diaz, the new chef, has remodeled the entire menu, and it is outstanding. And the beauty of the place can't be topped. The Stegmeyer Mansion, an old world take on the same amazing dining experience, and they've got a great happy hour and a great affordable menu, bar menu. Peter Terrace, we lost him August 3rd. He was 96th. He was from Oliphant. Passed away at Marywood Heights, Scranton. Preceded in death by his wife, Nancy. She passed in 1998. Peter Terrace was born in Dixon City. The family name was Terashevitz. He was a member of the St. Mary Visitation Church, Dixon City, a graduate of St. Mary's High School and Lackawanna Business College. He was employed by Sunshine Biscuit as a salesman prior to retirement. He served with the U.S. Air Force from 1948 to 1952. Peter was an avid golfer, but he was named Salesman of the Year many times throughout his career. His family wants to thank the staff and residents at Marywood Heights. Surviving 2 sons, a granddaughter, the granddaughter's husband, and other family members. Peter Terrace, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by Montage Mountain, the water park, full swing. Another perfect week. Today, a perfect day. Tomorrow, a perfect day. Today, it will be partly sunny, high 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, beautiful start to the weekend, high 85, low 63. Oh, get to Montage. Come on. Sunday, not as warm. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm beginning in the late morning. Downpours can reduce visibility. All right, all that we know. High 75, low 68. Monday, times of sun and clouds with a shower in spots. Humid, high 84, low 60. Tuesday, less humid with sunshine and a few clouds, but it'll be 85 degrees with a low of 59. Another great water park week to get to Montage. Fat draft. Elton John, Kiki D. Murph tells us this date, 1976. They had the number one hit with Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Bob, LTS, you didn't answer the question. So myself and your lifetime, have the same income. But you buy a Mercedes and $2 million house, and I buy a Nissan Versa and a small ranch. But now I don't get Social Security and you do. How is that right? I'm getting punished by savings, says Slick. I know. I can't. Look at, there's the old story about I'm trying to remember the insects involved. I think it was a grasshopper and an ant. And the ant saved up, and the grasshopper, he had a great time. I can't tell you it's fair. Slick, all I can tell you is we don't have the money. And by the way, I don't know your income, and I mean, you do, and I don't want you to state it either, by the way. But it would be phased down if you have post-retirement income of certain amounts. I can't look at you. The clown who wastes his money, I can't defend him. But the money isn't there for Social Security. And I'm concerned about the working person who wasn't able to save up much money. It's not easy to save, not the spendthrift. And some spendthrifts are going to get through and get Social Security to a higher degree than you, not completely, but to a higher degree than you are. And that's not fair. But it's what we have. It's all the money we have. So I'm not rooting against you, Slick, I promise you. Somebody texted, Bulldog is not great with theme songs. Even when I tell him, he forgets, says Jim from Hazleton. Well, that's the Bulldog. He pretends to forget. He's got a mind like a steel trap. He knows when National Hot Dog Day is every year, and he'll never forget that. On a completely different thought, Bob, I recently watched a great movie on TV. It's called Pressure. It's a true story, and all young voters should watch to see what our military gave for this country. All allies and mostly young men, what they gave for us. My God, we need to save this country from this new wave lunatics who were part of this. Don't come here and try to change what we created. Watch Pressure. Brendan Fraser plays Ike, LTS. I've got to go see that. I do. And other than the fact that they gave the meteorologist more credit than, deserved, I hear it's an outstanding movie. And that's exactly true for our young kids that think socialism's great. Please, as Miss Burke used to say in high school. Please. Somebody texted in LTS, Bob, back at you. I heard people from Scranton were going to vote for Poser Page just to get rid of her being mayor. Let me tell the people who are doing that. Number one, she could do more damage to ourselves and this country as congressperson. That's number one. She will be a member of the squad. I promise you. She's a left-wing lunatic. But the second part of it is, I will tell you this. If she loses for Congress, she's going to quit the mayor's office anyway. She's going to resign the mayor's office because she never wanted to be there. It was only a stepping stone. So she'll go to either one of those left-wing lunatic think tanks or organizations or nonprofits or NGOs and take a job. Believe me, citizens of Scranton, fellow citizens of Scranton, you won't be stuck with her after she loses to Rob Bresnahan. I promise you. All right, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, will return. Grown-man cry. I don't know what the hell he's saying, but I love the song. This date, 1981, the Rolling Stones. Murph says they released their hit, Start Me Up. Well, that was a good day, wasn't it? Hey, let's go right to the blower before Bloomberg. Ray from Mountaintop, how are you, brother?
Robert, it is so good to hear your voice. It's sunshine. It's sunshine. It's good for you. Robert, today's word is affordable.
Mm-hmm.
The lunatic left wing is, if you say it, if you repeat the lie long enough, people believe it. Now, when the cost of living was 9.1% going up in terms of consumer pricing, we didn't hear a word.
Yep.
Now it's down to 3.2, and nothing is affordable. You know what's not affordable? County government, municipal government, state government, federal government, tax, tax, tax. If the cost of gas goes up by $1 a gallon, and it's not that high now, it's coming down, but if it does, it costs the average driver $600 or $700 per year. A lot of money. Compare that to your municipal tax bill, your state tax bill, your state income tax bill, your federal income tax bill. They take our money and throw it all over the place. There's probably $1 trillion a year in waste, fraud, and abuse. Welfare fraud, SNAP fraud, on and on and on. That's what's unaffordable. That's what we can't have. And to make the government bigger, that's like giving heroin to an addict.
Yes.
That's money to the government. Stop. We have to do everything we can to stop the growth in government. The answer is people need to be responsible. If you ask the government for everything, then the government can take everything away from you. We need to encourage families. You know, I have a daughter of mine. She's on a school board. The 11 number one biggest state mandates have nothing to do with education. It has everything to do with food and welfare and this and that, but not reading, writing, and arithmetic.
The agenda.
The government is what's unaffordable.
That's the left-wing agenda. Ray, thank you, my man. I appreciate it. 10:50 right now. I'm at Cordaro Jewelers Watch. We'll be back after Bloomberg. This date, 1993, Murph tells us Soul Asylum moved into the top 10 charts at number 8 with their hit, Runaway Train. Murph tells us the song is about missing children. I don't know why, but it caught me. It brought a tear to my eye. Oh, you think of that kind of tragedy. And then I think of the sickening. Let me hold my tongue. Biden administration, who lost. They lost 300,000 kids. Coming across the border. You tell me he's not a disgrace? They lost 300,000 kids. Many of them were sold into slavery, sex slavery, child labor. These are disgusting people on the left. Please understand that. They're sickening. That's what Paige Cognetti and the whole gang, they didn't give a spit. They didn't care. At all. Never said a word about it. All right, so I think of these sickening pigs that now own the Democrat Party. And let's do something great, something to turn the tide, at least for me. I hope it does for you. Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, for August 13th yesterday. I didn't get to it. God told us, love your neighbor as yourself. So first, I am to love myself rightly and then to love my neighbor like that. But how can I love myself unless I accept myself as God has made me? Those who deny that beautiful differences between men and women are not accepting themselves as God has made them, and so cannot accept and love their neighbor. They will only bring division, unhappiness, and destruction of peace to the world. That's what she thought about this transgender madness. August 14th, Mother Teresa. I'm convinced that today's youth are more generous than those of times past. Our youth are better prepared and more willing to sacrifice to serve others. Let's pray that is true today, St. Teresa, Mother Teresa. And thank you, as always, for your persistence, Mary Regina. Yeah. You think about the sickening Biden administration. You think about the sickening Biden administration. And Paige Cognetti supporting them every step of the way, naming a damn street after them, naming an expressway after them. That's our embarrassment in front of the world. And didn't get a penny out of them. Nothing. We got nothing from Biden, Mr. Scranton. And by the way, he says he's from Baltimore, not Scranton. Tear down the banner in North Scranton or in North Washington Avenue. Tear it down. What a disgrace. Absolute disgrace being associated with that scumbag. And that doesn't even count as corruption. That doesn't even count as incompetence. That's his intentional policies that Paige Cognetti is all in on. They will reopen the border. And there will be child slavery in the United States to a degree we haven't seen since the turn of the 19th century. That's who these people are. Cloaking their sick, twisted, evil policies in compassion. Absolutely disgusting. All right. 11 o'clock on my Ricardo Jewelers watch. Let's go to the news with Brian Hughes. Then we'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:07 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch this beautiful Friday, August 14, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but salute today thanks to John, like Peter Terrace of Oliphant, Dale Roberts of Tioga, and Donald Bielovitz of Elmhurst Township. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment. This meeting, today's meeting, the Club for Common Sense, and we promise you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. And a further welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. It is your proven cure for idiocy. Give us a couple of weeks, and we will cure any idiocy, latent or overt. Just listen for a couple of weeks. And I mean listen. I don't mean hear it and get triggered by some word. Listen. And if you believe that the border policy under Biden made sense, that Paige Cognetti supports, okay, then you need the help. We will cure your idiocy. If you're in on the whole trans thing, remember, Paige Cognetti, your congressional candidate, Democrats, had a fundraiser at a home in Ballackinwood, and the scumbag Goldman, his name is, who threw the fundraiser, his entire life is devoted to mutilation of children who have gender dysphoria. His entire life. And getting hospitals reimbursed for that barbarism. Yeah. Medicare for all, which will ruin Medicare for those who've waited for it. This is all the idiocy we can fix. We are your cure for idiocy. Please, hang with us. Hang in there. You'll get there. And there's a video version, a live stream version of the program available. And that is brought to you by Roach Supply. Roach Supply is the premier bath and kitchen gang in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. Why are they 75 years in business? Why does 96-year-old Ron Roach still at the helm? Because they're great at what they do. They're fair. They're honest. Visit Roach Supply, ROCHE.com today, or go to their store in Honesdale, or their sister store, which is also there, Chapman Supply, South Abington Township. You'll find out what you've been missing. Somebody texted in, Bob, I don't think anyone is more conservative than I, and I agree with you 100% concerning Social Security. I have thought this exactly as you said for a long time, that people who are well off, at least on a declining grade, should get less or no Social Security. Warren Buffett's entitled to Social Security. Now, please tell me that the mechanic who got the girl pregnant paying Social Security taxes for Warren Buffett to get the money. I mean, it's that crazy. And there's instances in between, just like a couple of you texted me, and I get it, Bob K. and Slick. I get it. Government is a very inefficient method of delivering any benefit or harm. So I would say to you, I'll cut your taxes, those of you who've been responsible, and the clown that was a spendthrift, so what? He gets his Social Security. I don't know. By the way, didn't get to mention her, but Dominic Morocco was on, attorney Dominic Morocco, talking about the big case in Massachusetts. And I didn't mention Tina Morocco, his wife. the highly accomplished global sales advisor at Sotheby's International Realty in Naples. You could reach her at Sotheby's in Naples or go right to her website, Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or on any social media, Tina Morocco. She's your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. Rick Bigelow texted this in for me. And somebody made me chuckle. They said, hope you had a good vacation. He says, on the AI data centers, they're going about it the wrong way. They're not doing land acknowledgement on stolen land first. It might go over better. Yes. Tell them it's stolen land. But Rick, on a more serious tone, and it comports with what I've been saying. I believe very strongly that the current iteration of AI data centers, they use a lot of energy, a lot of water. However, it's exaggerated the noise. It's totally exaggerated. Number one. Number two, they can use water in a closed system and not affect our water supply or systems. Okay, that's number two. But I believe that many of them will be obsolete by the time that they're built. And that means we're going to have a new generation of them. Rick Bigelow echoes this. He says scientists and engineers are working on a new, because remember, Rick Bigelow is not only an historian, he's a scientist. And as a scientist, he's a patent attorney, which you have to be. But he says scientists and engineers are working on a new concept for computers and chips, photonics. Photonics is the physical science and technology of generating, controlling, and detecting light. Photons. If you're an original Star Trek fan, remember they had the photons? What would they call it? It was one of their weapons. Anyway, much like electronics uses electrons to move and process data, photonics uses light particles. It bridges physics, engineering, and materials science to power modern tools. Instead of using copper in chips and computers, scientists and engineers are looking at using light and glass-based optical fiber in chips and computers. This promises to generate far less heat and probably faster computation. If successful, this will significantly lower power and water requirements for data centers. Remember I had Mike McHale on yesterday, and he said he's seeing quantum improvements in the data centers' efficiency in his business and through his business. It's coming. It's coming. I tell you this. It's very important to note. Mark the Shark from Hazelden checking in. And it's a quote from John Galsworthy, author, Nobel laureate. We lost in 1933. He says, the beginnings and endings of all human undertakings are untidy. Isn't that true? Oh, Lordy. So, in any event, I've just got to tell you, as I'm watching this election, and I just see this stinking, rotting pile of lies from these Democrat socialists, Paige Gagnetti, the communists. That's what they are. It is beyond disturbing. When I see who her contributors are, when I see who her supporters are, we know the Soros family's evil. They max their contribution to her. This Goodman clown in Bala Cynwyd is an evil little troll. He wants mutilation of children, and so does Paige Gagnetti. That's why she took his money, because she'll get it done for him, or she'll try, along with the rest of the squad. We have never been, and I mean, we keep saying it, but I'm telling you, the elections are getting more important. They're getting more important. Somebody says, Bob, if you want to talk about sick, disgusting, evil human beings, just look at the Massachusetts legislature. all of those evil women clapping like seals for the abortion and the right to kill babies up to birth. That's what Massachusetts passed. And the listener says that's not abortion, that's downright murder. Infanticide. And our lovely mayor, with many names, will probably be there clapping just like the rest of those fools. Oh, yeah, she's for abortion right up to birth. Guaranteed. And you remember her pal, Shapiro, lying about it? Oh, your abortions are going to go away, as though it was a big positive thing. The abortion, the right to an abortion. Even take that out of the... He lied. This is what they do. They are scum liars. And now Massachusetts is bringing it the whole point. Passing a bill, and again, you're right, clapping like friggin' seals. That they now get to kill a baby right up to birth. Yay! How great is this? Oh, you're so great. You imagine that? Can you imagine? I don't care what your position on the issue is. I don't care if you're pro-choice, which there's normal people who are pro-choice. This is the sickness that the Democrat Party has become. This is Democrat Party Page Cognetti orthodoxy. Kill them all whenever. They're inconvenient. We want population control. Unbelievable. This is who she is. And believe me, the Soroses, the Goodmans of this world would not be giving her massive amounts of money if she wasn't all in on their twisted evil. 11:19 on my Ricardo's watch. We'll take a break and be back. Everclear. This date, 1998, Murph tells us they moved up to number 5 with their hit Father of Mine. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Let's go right to the blower. We got Luciano from Luzerne County, and he's got a theme song.
Hello? Hello?
You're on. But we got to hear. We're playing your theme song. You got to let it play, man.
But you know something, Bob? I don't like the theme song.
You got to have your little. You got to have a little stagecraft here, Luciano.
Okay, I let the show begin. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm with you.
10 other states, disgusting Democratic, radical East Coast states that did what Massachusetts did.
Disgusting.
New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Delaware, D.C., Vermont. One more is missing out of that despicable policy of killing innocent children that the good Lord says, curse anyone that takes innocent blood. Children are my precious things. But these radical 10 states did horrible. I just got one last comment. God bless America. And let me just tell you, the dirty little secret has been kept a secret. Migrants, illegals, undocumented, whatever word you want to use, when they go to the emergency room, they are eligible at taxpayers' expense. I'm a conservative Catholic, so don't throw that in.
Something happened there. We lost him. We lost our man. I don't know if you guys were listening in the first hour. I told you while I was away, sadly, we received at our household 2 different Paige Cognetti flyers full of disgusting lies, like absolutely disgusting lies, like obvious lies. Paige Cognetti, an independent leader for Congress, and we've got these fools, a woman from Wilkes-Barre and a supposed Republican from Lackawanna County. And it's astonishing. And I think we could summarize it all this easily. Everything Paige Cognetti tells you is a lie. I have not heard the truth out of her regarding any subject. When she talks about corruption, she's the one who bought a building for $2 million that we didn't need. And he said, well, Bob, how do you know we didn't? Well, I know we didn't need it, number one. We didn't do a space utilization study of existing Scranton facilities, because that's not even just City Hall. We didn't do any space utilization studies. That's number one. Number two, the Scranton police have a headquarters. And the fake lie for why they needed this building to reward her contributors, that fake lie was the Scranton police needed for some sort of surveillance. Well, number one, she's a defund the police person. That's number one. Number two, they have their own headquarters. They have their own headquarters to put this in. And then the third reason why I know it was unnecessary and was merely a handout to her contributors, the city's seeking to rent part of the building. This is insane. So everything she says is a lie. And I by the way, if you find something that's not a lie, she refused to take a pay raise. She made the council pass a pay raise for her office. It gets insane. You don't even know how to react to some of it. It's so crazy. And see, this is what they do. They do the big lie. And if the lie is so big, you're going to say, well, geez, I mean, she wouldn't make something up that bad. That's what they do. And remember who's drawing up. She's got a lot of left-wing lunatics like Wendy around her. But separate from that, the Mamdani Communist Campaign, Islamist Communist Campaign, the same company called Fight, is running her campaign. The Soroses, the source of evil and hate in America, have given max contributions to Paige Cognetti. And I mentioned that little scumbag child mutilator from Bala Kinwood who ran the fundraiser at his house. And Paige was down there taking the money, hand over fist. And then the lie about not taking corporate PAC money. It's actually accented on the flyer. And it's totally false. She takes corporate PAC money through other PACs. It's insane. And she's talking about fiscal responsibility as mayor. These two budgets for her election years as mayor and now as Congress are going to put us in serious deficit in the future. There is a guaranteed tax increase in our future as citizens of Scranton. Guaranteed. But she doesn't care. She wants you to not be paying attention. She wants you to be dumb enough to ignore reality. Unreal. She says she fights corruption. What corruption did she fight? Other than buying a $2 million building the city doesn't need from her campaign contributors. Please tell, other than delaying a pool complex construction because it would have been awarded by bid to a political opponent. That's who we're talking about here. Disgrace. 11:31 on my Bacardo's watch. We'll be back with our Veterans Tribute. That's George Mendoza, veteran, and the man who known famously for that kiss on VJ Day in Times Square. Our Veterans Tribute, brought to you proudly, dutifully, and always by our man John Basiliga. And it's Friday, so I'm thinking Basiliga Hospitality Group. Two of the best fine dining restaurants you will ever experience. A Terra 519 downtown Scranton. Absolutely amazing, gorgeous, all kinds of affordable options. And Chef Alex Diaz is top shelf, and he's got that place whipped into shape. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. Absolutely awesome. An old world take on the same amazing dining experience. Donald Bielovitz. We lost him July 31st. He was from Elmhurst Township. He was surrounded at his passing by the love of his close-knit family as he made his final journey home. Born in Scranton, attended North Scranton Junior High, where he played on the basketball team. He graduated from the amazing, special Scranton Technical High School in 1963. Don was a proud veteran of the U.S. Army, having served as an instructor of equipment maintenance with the Army Corps of Engineers at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. He attained the rank of SP5. Don used his repair training as a mechanic, getting into business with his father-in-law, John Craig, at Craig's Arco in Elmhurst. He later became the proprietor there. Don's second career was as a meter reader in the service department of PPL. After retirement from there, he got his real estate license and worked part-time with his wife for Remax in Lakeview Estates in Goldsboro. Don is survived by his wife and high school sweetheart, Marin Craig Bielovitz. They would have celebrated their 61st anniversary this past August 7th. 2 children, 2 grandchildren, many other family members survive him. Don was a member of the Maple Lake United Methodist Church and a 50-year member of the Masonic Lodge in Moscow. A superior gardener, fisherman, and avid hunter. But he loved nothing more than being surrounded by his children and grandchildren and a rousing game of poker. He will live in his family's heart always. Donald Bielovitz. Our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at the Montage Mountain Resort, where the water park is in full swing, and it's another amazing water park weather weekend. Today, partly sunny, high 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 61. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. Beautiful start to the weekend, high 85, low 63. Sunday, not as warm, but periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the late morning, high 75, low 68. Monday, times of sun and clouds with a shower in spots, humid, high 84, low 60. Tuesday, less humid with sunshine and a few clouds, high 85, low 59. And that's your weather, brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resorts, where it's 78 degrees at the water park right now. Sam and Dave. That's one of our opening songs, but I love it. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. Mr. Paul texted in. On Wednesday, a 5-year forecast released by the Pennsylvania Economy League in partnership with the Electric City. The report shows there's a lot more work to be done. Scranton's general fund budget is balanced this year. But starting next year, a gap between those numbers begins. $1.3 million deficit for 2027, $4 million by 2029. I mean, she did nothing to restore this city to fiscal health. That was Bill Courtwright, period. End of story. And she's figured out how to screw it up again. It's unreal. The incompetence. The fact that literally nothing gets done in the city. Nothing. We painted the crosswalks, $300,000 of your money before the mayor election. They're all either faded or paved over. Please take a look. Unreal. Unreal. Oh, all right. We have to hear from our sponsors, and we're happy to do so, by the way. Let's hear from them, and then we'll come back and remind you the live stream is brought to you on YouTube. Bob Cordaro Show, WILK, by Roach Supply, ROCHE. The premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. Visit Roach Supply, ROCHE, roachsupply.com today, or go to their stores in Honesdale or on the main drag just past the notch. It's called Chapman Supply, their sister company in South Abington Township. Thank you, Gerard. Happy to hear from Gerard and Gerard Mayer, and of course, Frank Sinatra on a bar stool, reportedly, and this is from Rick Bigelow now, I didn't see it myself, that he's on a bar stool in Noumea, New Caledonia, as we speak. And, lamenting to Joe. Bob Cordaro back on WILK. Bob, please say the name of the song just played and the singer. Now, I don't know which you're referencing. Are you referencing... Quarter to Three is not called Quarter to Three. What's it called, Bulldog? It's called One for My Baby and One for the Road by Sinatra. And then before that was Hold On, I'm Coming by Sam and Dave. So either way, I think I got you covered. Somebody texting in, talk about the sickness of the trans movement. There's a breathtaking article in today's New York Post of kids who transitioned and now are going back to their original sex, saying how they were manipulated and pressured by people in authority to have this surgery. The doctors, the teachers, etc. The people should have been caring for these children instead of pushing them into this madness. And by the way, I'm not saying it isn't something that some people could benefit from, because that's up to the individual. But it's up to the individual as an adult, not to a twisted, idiotic parent, not to a twisted, evil physician or hospital. When they become adults, you can make decisions for yourself. These children are not making decisions for themselves. What are you going to do? You're gonna paint Batman? I wanted to be Batman when I was a kid. What are you going to make me wear a rubber mask? So idiotic, you can't even make it up. I'm telling you. This is the left of Paige Cognetti, of Joe Biden, of today's Democrat Party. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that I in so many ways, I won't get into it. Joe from Trips Park says, the Iceman is back. That's right. LTS back at you. I don't know, guys. Bloomberg Money Minute, though. That's what my Bacardo's watch says. We'll be back. It's 11:50. Biden banner disgrace, day 242. The man who let 300,000 children into this country and lost them to sex slavery, to child labor, and whatever other horrors. Honored with a banner for hometown heroes designed for veterans. And he dodged service multiple times, so he doesn't deserve it. Well, then we say, well, at least he's from Scranton. He says he's from Baltimore. So Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, you are a disgrace. Sickening. The Biden banner, day 242. Tear the banner down. So when I think of something disgusting, I think of something great like Tina Morocco, global sales advisor at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. You can reach her at Sotheby's in Naples or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, TinaMorocco.com. And you get any social media, MURACCO. I had a friend of mine call me while I was away. So I called him back, naturally, and I said, what's happening? He said, I really would love to pay tribute to Tina Morocco. I bought a house through her in Florida, and we couldn't be happier. I want to brag about her. I said, so we'll get you on. So that's coming, but she's great. And you got to trust with that kind of investment. That kind of investment and that kind of move. You've got to be with someone you trust who's not only trustworthy, but an expert. That's the big deal. Hey, we're finishing with Nickelback. Their hit Rockstar. This date, 2006. I like the song. They came out with it, and the rest was history, wasn't it? Well, we've got some business to do as we end the week and end the program for a Friday. First, provided by my man, Nicky DeSando, the policeman's prayer. And think about your cops. They're the thin blue line separating us from savagery. Lord bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all. Guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge. Protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. The Policeman's Prayer. And now Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick. It was brought to my attention in the obituary of the lovely Doreen Goriab a few years back. And it just means, hey, you never know how long somebody's going to be with you. Reach out. If I knew it would be the last time that I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, a text, a call, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Yep. Somebody said, who sings Hold On? Can't understand what I said. Sam and Dave. One of my favorite songs. Well, we'll let Nickelback finish it up. Guys, great to be with you, even if it was only for a couple days this week. God willing, I'll be back with you Monday, and we'll get back on track with everything, including Monday Musings with John Perillo. Thanks to our sponsors. Obviously, thanks to all of you. No thanks to the fools like Paige Cognetti who give us the fodder for the program. We don't enjoy it, believe me. But it's heading up to noon on my Picardo's watch. That means we're going to gavel to a close today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, hoping and praying we're with you Monday morning. Club for Common Sense, meeting and week adjourned.